All right, let's do a quick run through of your homework assignment for this week, which is all about connecting school demographics and all of those different types of diversity kind of categories that we talked through in the notes and you read about in chapter 6 to best teaching practices. So definitely want to make sure you've watched the video notes and you've read chapter 6 before you launch into this because you're going to have to connect this activity to chapter 6. So this assignment has two parts. The first is called being a data detective, and the second part is connecting the data to this to best teaching practices. All right, so part one is you are going to go to the Arkansas public website that houses school report cards for every school in the state of Arkansas. And you're going to pick a school and you're going to spend probably 20 minutes skimming all the data that the website offers about that school. You're going to see data about achievement on different assessments for grade levels. It's going to tell you how each group of students did on ELA, math, science, whatever the standardized tests at that school were in the 2023-2024 school year. It's going to be broken down by subroutes. So you can see, for example, how sixth graders who are homeless did on their ELA exam. There's a tab for growth. So I'll let you read through it. There's a ton of information. You don't have to read every word. You're skimming through, you're looking at the data, you're taking notes on things that stood out to you, things that surprised you. And then you're going to take that data and you're going to write some type of report summarizing what you learned. So it should include probably a summary of the school's demographics. That's going to be easy to find. I'll show you in just a moment. It should include key data points from whatever caught your attention, achievement, growth. There's teacher quality data, anything surprising or particularly interesting you noticed. So you're being a data detective. This is your initial report. What data did you detect? And you can really give it to me in a variety of ways. You can write it in like a 2-page written summary. You can make some tables and charts and write some observations and notes. You can put it in a PowerPoint with a few slides. You could make a video like I'm making for you or an infographic. All right, so that's your first thing you're doing. So let's take a look at the website, just a quick walkthrough of how to use it. So here is the Arkansas Data Center. And this, again, is the building report card for every school in Arkansas, every public school. And the most recent year we have data is last school year, so 2023-2024. So you can pick any school you want. So you could pick a school you went to. If you're at a school now doing a field placement, you could do that school. A school you just like the name of it, a school in your neighborhood, a school one of your kids go to. Pick any school. The schools on this are in here alphabetically by district, but you can use this filter to find any school you want, either by district or school name. So I'm just going to pick a letter. Let's see what we have under S. All right. I am going to pick, let's scroll down. Let's pick Sheridan High School. So over here, once you find a school, the first option is to view the report. The second is to download it. The third is to email it to yourself. And the fourth is to save it to your computer. Let's just view it. All right, so when you pull up the building report card, right here, we just have the basic information. Principal, superintendent, how many students go there, class size, teaching stats, how much was spent. Here's our race, ethnicity, demographic information. Over here on the left side are the links to all of the different data sets attached to this school. So this is what you're going to spend 20 minutes reviewing and taking notes. What did you find interesting? How are students doing on their assessments based on these different demographics or based on their socioeconomic status? So scrolling down, here's an example of a report. So this is the achievement and assessment report. They put They put it in reverse chronological order. So if you want to see the most recent year, you have to scroll all the way to the right. But here it breaks it down. So this is the ninth grade ELA test. It tells you how all students did. It tells you how students did broken down by these different subgroups. So if you want to know how did economically disadvantaged students do on this test, students with disabilities, those would be students that have IEPs, ELL students. All right, a couple notes. If you see something that says N is less than, or there's a less than in a percent, or an RV. So that means that there were so few students in this group that they're not going to report their information to make sure their test results remain anonymous. So at this school, on this ninth grade English exam, there's fewer than 10 African American ninth grade students at this school. So they're not going to put the information there. So that's what that N is less than 10, or sometimes it's a percentage based on the school or the RV. So those just means those are small groups at that school and they're not going to report their information. All right, skim through all sorts of data, have fun. It's interesting. It's good to know how to access that. Then part 2 is after you've written your research report, however you're going to present that, is to pick one of these 3 prompts. And each of these 3 prompts is related to something from the textbook in chapter 6. So you're going to use the data you gathered, and you're going to write 2 paragraphs based on one of these prompts. So read through the prompts, pick the one that makes the most sense with the data you looked at and your understanding of the textbook. So to get full part on part 2, you need to reference the textbook specifically. So you might say, as the textbook explains, or in the textbook it said. So just make sure you have something from the textbook in your answers to show how you're relating your data to the textbook. No, you do not have to make an APA reference page for this. You're just referencing the textbook. I'm not caring about the in-text citation format. It just needs to be clear in your writing how you're connecting your data to the information from the textbook for which one of these you wrote. Now, if you did a PowerPoint for part 1, can you put your paragraphs in for part 2 in the PowerPoint? Sure. However you want to make, if you want to turn into separate documents, that's fine as well. Reach out with questions, and happy data detecting.